Welcome, my sisters and brothers, to the Law of One. I am Robert, a humble messenger, and it is my pleasure to share with you conscious channeling of LL research. For if you were not seeking, I could not share this with you. Before we begin speaking about the question asked this evening, we would like to be sure that each understands that we, like you, are pilgrims upon a path. We have not yet reached that end which is the source of all things, for still, though we have advanced and learned different lessons from you, yet there are many things we do not know. Yet you call to us, and we turn back to you as brothers and sisters, sharing our opinions with you, we who have perhaps experienced more. You do us a great service by asking for us to share within your beautiful meditation and to become a portion of your unified circle of seeking. For were you not to call us, we would be unable to serve you. And it is by serving you that we ourselves may learn and grow and refine our knowledge and love of the one infinite Creator. We turn to the question of phenomena and love. For you ask us how, if one has seen those beings generally unseen, can one tap into the wisdom and knowledge of those entities, learn what they have to offer, and improve one's service within your life experience within this illusion, which some have called the shadow of death. And so we begin, asking always that this covenant be remembered. Take what seems correct to you and leave all else behind, for we would not be a stumbling block to any. Many there are who have incarnated upon this sphere in these days by choice, in order to aid the planetary consciousness at a time when your planet as a whole is making its final choice, as one could hope, be a unified being. Failing that, the time inexorably draws near when each entity must make that choice for itself. The choice betwixt the path of lightness and the path of darkness. The path of unity and the path of separation. The path of service to others and the path of service to self. Thus, much of your incarnation, you will find yourself in the process of making choices. And as you begin to seek in a conscious fashion those spiritual lessons which you believe are there for you to learn, you begin little by little to include in those considerations for choice thoughts and biases which you have developed in the process of your seeking, thus transforming what may seem to others to be a mundane and unspiritual choice as a truly spiritual means of making some manifestation of love and service for others overt, enlightening the consciousness, not only for the self and those others about you which may be affected, but also upon another level, the consciousness of the planet itself. For there lies within the peoples of this sphere a growing and nearly critical mass of those who, in one guise or another, seek peace and light and joy. And as each seeker seeks and fails and picks itself up and seeks again and takes one step backward and two steps forward, as we all do in our stumbling way, as each persists, so the light grows. The web of light about the planet becomes stronger. And planetary consciousness is being transformed. There is a concept among your peoples called critical mass. And it is towards this point that the planetary consciousness is moving. A significant harvest of souls shall be moving on to a different reality, a different illusion, more refined lessons, and a gentler, emotional, mental, and physical experience, which, upon the other hand, is far greater in what you would call the length of time. For now, within this life experience, you gaze upon what you see, whatever it may be, and you make your choice. Service to others or service to self. With this fundamental information in place, we would then speak of phenomena such as the seeing of many lights in the sky, the seeing of visions that are clear, the hearing of messages and answers to prayers, and other phenomena which are experienced by those whose consciousnesses are awakening from the sleep of what you would call life, material life, and turning the eyes upon the infinite creation, seeking to know the deeper truths which lie behind that which your own scientists tell you is truly an illusion of energy fields, interacting and appearing quite solid and real. Yet each of you is, in truth, light formed by divine consciousness, containing a gem that is that portion of you which was, as your holy work, the Bible says, before the world began, that part of yourself which sees with eternal eyes, and loves and gives with infinite supply. In the prison of your earthly body, you have perhaps not been able to offer infinitely those things which you would wish to offer. Perhaps you have felt you do, indeed, need wisdom from those phenomena which signal to you the presence of a greater self, a fuller light, a larger reality. We would ask you to see, as you gaze upon phenomena of however beautiful or persuasive a nature, that it is nothing but dust and ashes, holding no meaning whatsoever, unless it strikes within the heart of the perceiver the chord of recognition. For in truth, as you are truly a portion of the Creator and have that divine spark within you, You have the ultimate resource given by grace. And you shall not learn, but remember and recognize those truths which are yours and which are needed by you in order for the consciousness which you are attempting to polarize towards service to others to have the best atmosphere in which to do so. In the case of wanderers especially, that is, those who have come here from elsewhere in the infinite creation of the Creator to be of service to those who attempt harvest in this and following generations. There are often come delegations of those who would wish that visiting soul well. And as in some higher densities, these forms are those of light. So in some cases, the phenomena is nothing more than a visit from friends, not intended for information, but only for support and greeting. In other cases, there are those whose souls cry out, while consciously they may yet be only half aware of the reason for their discomfort with life as they know it. In some cases, those invisible entities which dwell helpfully about each child of the Creator will sometimes manifest briefly as a signpost indicating the mystery of creation. Many lights within your skies are there to advertise the mystery, to suggest and remind those who may have not thought deeply about the subject that humankind knows nothing. That science itself, as you call it, is based upon that which has been observed, not that which has been understood. That the fundamental values which scientists use are values of an unknown origin and nature. A sense of mystery is a very, very strong motivation for many of those who visit your sphere at this time in light to do the work of the Creator and to awaken those who yet are asleep within their bodies of clay, not recognizing their prison, but rejoicing in their cell. Each entity has its time to emerge from that prison, to look through the bars and then to find the key that unlocks the door of finiteness, of beginning and ending as a human being upon your planet. For eternal you are. And you share an exciting, rich, challenging, fascinating, and joyful pilgrimage. A pilgrimage in which we are those who walk with you. There is another category of light phenomena and your so-called UFO phenomena, which expresses and manifests in ways which generate negative emotion, terror, control, fear, and so forth. These experiences are often those offered by entities which are upon the negative path, who have chosen within your density of learning to follow the path of service to self. These entities have a philosophy to offer, and to those who are willing to carry this message, the message is given. These entities also appear in vehicles of light or in shapes of color. This is due to the fact that those who worship the Creator can only serve, whether they serve other or the self. All are one, and consequently, if their surface is pure enough in a negative sense, they too may use the Creator's light, which falls upon all in a fearless blessing of free will. For the Creator wishes those who come to Him in the end to come in an irresistible love by total free choice, and with every facility ablaze with the Spirit. Now, we have not yet addressed the true, or shall we say, the more efficient method of obtaining aid from those sources which you have identified with manifestations and phenomena. The tool that is the most efficient in this way may be called meditation, prayer, or contemplation. It involves not only expressing oneself inwardly and asking those petitions you would for the self and for others with needs that you know of, but also of listening quietly, persistently, and in a daily manner to that which the holy work, known as the Bible, has called the still, small voice, the voice of silence, and the true voice of enlightenment. For the knowledge which you would wish to know is not knowledge, but an inner knowing which cannot be expressed, a way, shall we say, of being wired, that you may glow the brighter as an entity in mute witness to the beauty of love. Within meditation, the work is done. Within meditation, the work is done. Within the listening, within the silence, within the daily persistent seeking heart, that which is of true wisdom and compassion is an environment which is more and more dealt within with a steady and unremitting faith, built by constant turning within to the Creator within. The entity more and more becomes a king of being and is, or exists, or expresses in a certain way. The entity may not notice, but those to whom the entity is manifesting do indeed notice and are blessed by the light which shines through them, blessed indeed by the focus which sees into the heart of each, to see the consciousness and the perfection of Christ and Christ consciousness. For this is your intended and true nature, a nature which gives and receives love freely, wisely, gently, and unstingingly. To love, to exist in love, to begin to discover. The discovery of selfhood, of the self in love, is the basic work of those who wish to lighten the planetary consciousness. It may seem most undramatic, and it is. It may seem most unlikely to produce the riches of the world, and it is. To work for planetary lightening is a service to others' act. To do it daily is a blessing to your beloved and fragile home in space and time. We will turn now to the question of how best to manifest and express the joy, the peace, and the love of consciousness which is held within what you would call the kingdom of heaven. How can one best share with others? How can one find what this instrument has called right livinghood? We wish we could move within the experiential nexus of your culture and find some persuasive way to express the extreme biases and distortions among your peoples concerning those ways of living which are of most service. Perhaps the key to what we would say concerning service and livelihood, that is what you may call rightness, is this: the consciousness of the Creator, unique parts of which manifest as yourselves in highly distorted form, is completely unified. You may love one and serve one and give as clearly and beautifully and fully as the entity who shares that same light and love and passion for light and love with 10 million. The service is the same, for the service is in the preparation of consciousness, that it may do the work before it in such a way that that work becomes positively polarized, serving in gladness, so that those about one who is serving in any capacity whatsoever may witness the light, the joy, and the peace which cannot come from one within an illusion in which so much is distressed. That which you call human facilities fail. The love of the one infinite Creator is infinite. We do not wish to discourage an entity which finds a desire to use those visions which it has received from so using them. We wish to make each aware that it is well to express the desire that only those entities which wish to aid in service to others be accepted. And after that determination of consciousness has been repeated frequently enough that it has pierced the veil of the subconscious mind and moved therein, that level at which these entities enter the conceptual web of a being upon your planet may be stopped at the gateway of your subconsciousness if they are of a negative orientation. It is most practical to place the guardianship of love and service to others as deeply in the mind complex as it may be sent, and to keep the self within this place of choice, that those things which might come into the consciousness from an impersonal source be those things which shall redound to the beauty of the Creator and the kindly love and blessed light which that Creator offers to each and through each day in every conceivable way. We find that this instrument informs us we have overstepped our speaking period, and once again we apologize for our prolixity. But this is a subject of much interest to us, as we speak to you from that which this instrument would call the wisdom density, which may be perhaps more easily understood as a kind of experience in light, which perhaps equals in our experience the imagination of those which think of the kingdom of heaven. We do not put ourselves forward, but only describe the environment which we enjoy. We admire each of you and all of humankind. Our decisions are easy, for we have no veil. Our subconscious mind, our archetypical mind, our impersonal or creator mind. All these levels of awareness are open to us, and we share our thoughts with all those within our society. Our eyes are open. Our hearts are open. Yet still, we find work to do, my children. Yet you have eyes clouded with the grossest of illusions, ears and all senses inundated with a sea of experience. And because you cannot see the thoughts of those about you, communication fails most often, and pain is inflicted that could never be inflicted in the time to which all of you are looking. That next step in the evolution of very, very young sparks of divinity and heirs of birthright of divinity, as it makes its blessed way to a larger and larger realization of the true nature of the self. We see that we have begun again, and we must stop so that if there are any queries which you have decided to ask at this time, you may. We do apologize for wordiness, but we are most pleased to be asked such an interesting and central question, and hope that in each right livinghood that each may choose, that each may feel that presence of divinity, which is more truly the self.